This is the second video on the short course of Effective Data Collection short course. In the first video, we had an introduction which was titled Why Data Quality is Important. On this one, we will be looking the survey design, creating your research question, outcomes, and indicators. It is very important to determine what is the purpose of the survey, why you are conducting the survey, and what do you want to learn. Setting your research questions, outcomes, and indicators clearly makes writing the rest of your survey far simpler. In this video, we will learn how to build our research question, outcomes, and indicators through exploration of a case study. We start with the first question, determining your research question. Before you start collecting data, it is important to figure out your research question and who you can survey. To formulate your research question, you should be able to answer these three key questions. The first question is, what is my research question? The second question is, why am I collecting this information? And the third question, who can I collect this data from? That is the target population and sample. Let's look at the case study. You run an education NGO which works on a teacher training program across 1,500 schools in Nairobi and Kilifi counties. As part of your program, your team trains teachers on how to improve your students' reading skills. From this case study, we can then ask ourselves these three key questions. What is the research question behind collecting data on the impact of the program? Then this has to be, how has my NGO improved the teaching skills of the teachers we work with, and how has this improved the students' reading skills? That is for the first question. The second question, why am I collecting this information? Then, this is to measure the impact of my NGO's program so that I can compare it to my other programs and can communicate its impact to my donors. The third question to ask, who can I collect this data from? I can only collect this data from the students and teachers where the organization works, that is the NGO. Once you answer these questions, these three key questions, for your own survey, then that means you have figured out your research question and your target population. We come to the second key question, determining your outcomes. Once you have determined the research question, you can create the set of outcomes for your survey. But wait, what's an outcome? An outcome is something that you can track to measure data on your research questions. Outcomes should be feasibly measurable. Let's look at the previous case study which we had of the education NGO. We identified from that the research question is how has the NGO improved the teaching skills of the teachers we work with, and how has this improved the students' reading skills? Now then, what are the possible outcomes we anticipate from this case study? We will have two of them. One, it is how has it changed the teaching skills of the teachers? Two, how has it changed the reading skills of the students? That is for the outcomes for the case study. And then the last question is determining your indicators. Once you have determined your set of outcomes, you can create the indicators for each outcome. What is an indicator? An indicator is a data point using either qualitative or quantitative data within the framework of your survey. We still go back to the previous case study that we had of the education NGO, which works on a teacher training program across 1,500 schools in Nairobi and Kilifi counties. So as part of your program, your team trains teachers on how to improve your students' reading skills. We had identified the research question that how has the organization improved the teaching skills of the teachers that we work with, and how has this improved the student reading skills. For the outcomes, we identified two of them. That is the change in the teachers' teaching skills and also the change in students' reading skills. Now, for the indicators, we will be having indicators towards the change in teachers' teaching skills, and also indicators that reflect the change in students' reading skills. So what are these indicators? For the indicators which will measure change in the teachers' teaching skills, we will have the following. 1, it is to conduct written assessments over time. 2, it is to observe the teachers' classes at intervals. 3, it is take qualitative feedback from students regarding the teachers' classes. And lastly, it is to ask the teachers to reflect on their improvement over time. That is for the indicators which measure the change in the teachers' teaching skills. What of the indicators which measure the change in students' reading skills? 1, we will have to track the students' homework assignments. 2, it is to track the scores on the reading exams. 3, it is to conduct reading assessments at intervals, and also to ask the students to reflect on their reading improvement over time. With this, we can be able to create our research questions, outcomes, and indicators for our surveys. In our next video, we are going to look at the data collection methods. See you in our next video.